This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Full barn ahead.
Hello, friends.
Hello, sorry, I'm still playing with this weird light on my head. I'm just gonna sit like this.
Just let it be. Quit worrying about it. You'll be all right.
I'm trying to figure out if my computer's broken or that my head.
Your head's broken. For sure.
Yeah, definitely your head.
Yeah, it's
Is it
definitely.
real? Is it really there? All right.
Today is Monday, December 4th, and okay, here we go.
Where are we going, Muff?
College Football Selection Committee members did some thinking, they did some figuring, they put their minds together.
Mm-hmm.
They came up with 4 teams.
Mm-hmm.
They have very much agrified an entire fan base, and for some, called into question what they're really there to do.
Well, I feel like that was always the question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
But have made history with this question, the questioning that we have to do on this one. So we will definitely get into that. And the Here We Go reference, Jim, that's Dak Prescott. So, just keep up with the times. You're a sports fan.
Sorry, bud.
Here we go.
Here we go.
I think Nate gets it.
Okay, guys.
Also going to get in some Heisman Trophy discussion along with the conference championship recap. Hopefully none of us get kicked out of the game like Big Dom today in Philly.
He's just sticking up for what was right.
He's sticking up for something, and then he got in the middle of the wrong thing, almost like the sideline guy in New Orleans.
He was like sideline security or something. It's like, so who's in charge now? Now it's just free for all.
Well, I'm talking about the sideline guy in New Orleans.
Oh,
he's gonna be on the mend for a bit.
Jeez.
Oh, that was gross.
Nate found this first.
Yeah, I saw it happen live watching Red Zone, and so of course they have to show it. My mom was like, "Oh my god, I can't unsee it."
Is it? Did it look like a hyperextended knee?
I said, "Mom, relax. He just got up." She goes, "No, I can't look." I go, "It's fine. He's just bow-legged now."
Yeah, I don't think it was hyperextended.
Like, didn't the knee go, or didn't the leg come out?
Like sideways?
No, honestly, it looked like if he were to stand up, it would have been bow-legged. Like his foot was actually pointing inward, and his knee was actually.
What is that, valgus?
That makes sense. All I saw was bend. It was like, gotta send it, but I ain't looking no more.
Alex, yeah, what do you do?
His lower leg definitely had a curvature to it that looked like I said, he was going to be bow-legged.
Alex, what's like the first on-scene care for something like that?
Vomit.
Yeah. Step 1. Second, just put it in a giant air cast and get them to the nearest hospital.
How do you put that in air cast?
They make these big like tarp things that you like roll up around the leg basically, and then you actually do the opposite. Instead of blowing it up there, you suck the air out, and it makes it like a hard. It's like if you suck the air out of a beanbag, but it holds its form then. And then it has these Velcro straps around it. And literally the job of it is just to stabilize the leg so it doesn't get more shifty on the way to the hospital. When people come into the hospital and they're using one of those, when you take it off, it's going to be fudged up under there. Usually there's blood dripping out the end of it. That's always fun too.
That's how you know it's going to be a good time?
Yeah, that's how you know you're in for a treat.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Hold on. I'm not done.
That's what she said.
Muff, or Alex, what do you give the patient before you wheel him into the meat wagon? Like, there's got to be medicine, right?
A whole lot of drugs.
Is it like morphine? Is he getting the
fentanyl?
Yeah. Is it really?
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Controlled fentanyl in a controlled setting is actually good. Like, it's utilized.
Yeah, but we're talking about ambulance crew doing that.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him 50 of fentanyl. If that doesn't help, I'm gonna give him 50 more. Sometimes they give him I think I've seen him give like ketamine before. Like, yeah, because that's not comfortable.
Am I gonna fall asleep?
No, you'll be in too much pain.
Is this just to even out the pain situation, the shock situation?
One guy's leg was so messed up, and we knew we were taking him to surgery. We just literally put him to sleep and intubated him because we knew he had to go emergently to surgery, and there was no use torturing him any longer.
Was his leg still there? Was it attached?
Oh, it was attached.
Barely?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this has, bleeds right into some of our opening discussion on college football because Jordan Travis, he
Oh yeah,
he had a
yeah.
Gumby situation. There's a lot
Yeah.
going on with Florida State. As always, thanks to everybody for interacting with the socials at Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, Sports Stuff W/Jim Ampersand Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Remember to
Get the bell on.
after you
Ding, ding.
subscribe, make sure that you turn on those notifications. Get with us, like the things, comment on the things, love the things. Which brings us first this week into college football.
Yay.
I like it. I mean, it worked out for me. I don't like it, but I'm happy about one of the selections getting it.
Jim, take it away.
Buddy.
Just because Ohio State's not in here doesn't mean that you don't have this responsibility.
Bama beat Georgia 27-24 in the SEC championship. That happened.
It was a good game to watch. I mean, it was competitive.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Right?
Alex and I took this in at a local watering hole.
We did.
Florida State beat Louisville 16-6.
That game was not very fun to watch.
Not at all.
A good a good bordering on great defensive performance by Florida State.
Yeah, I watched a couple minutes of it and I was just kind of like, just see what the score is in the morning.
Washington beat Oregon
That
30
was a good game to watch.
34-31. I enjoyed that game.
Friday night delivered with the Pac-12, the last full-scale Pac-12 championship game.
Yeah. I made people watch it while we played chalk potato.
Before or after you demolished state troopers.
Before, during, and after.
In a cluster, Texas beat Oklahoma State 49-21.
Why is this a cluster?
I think it was just the halftime.
The halftime cluster is what I should have said. You're right.
The most
Undertaker gives the championship to yours. WWE did sponsor the Big Ten and has a deal to sponsor in the future the Big Ten championship. The Big 12.
For them. The Dr. Pepper shootout controversy.
Yeah, go ahead.
This captivated the minds of Twitter for a good bit because they quickly caught on the fact that old buddy on the left, as you're watching the TV, had more points than he should have, and old buddy on the right should have won in regulation because old buddy on the left had a tick down 2 on his score for no apparent reason, and they overcorrected and they were tied at the end of regulation. Then they went to the 15-second shootout, which they tied again, which I don't think there was any issues there on the count. Aside from they seemed to allow like the last one to go in after I would have expected, like after the whistle blew and time went out and all of that. So then they go to this really interesting shootout scenario, which I thought was going to be like soccer, right? They each get 1-1-1. They go up to 3, and then they go 1-1 after that. But it was just guy makes it, guy misses it, game over. And then that's how they decided old buddy on the left was going to win $100,000 in tuition. And then all the people came in and said, wait. We have an issue with the count. We've looked at all the hanging chads and we've realized there's been an issue in the Dr. Pepper shootout. And both get the $100,000 in tuition money.
Cluster.
That sounds rigged.
Right? Thank you, Nate. I agree. Next.
I always feel so bad for the people that lose.
Oh, we want to talk about the dead cow.
They still get $20,000. The dead Longhorn that wound up on the lawn of an Oklahoma State fraternity. Yeah, that happened. And of course, everyone jumps to why would they do this on the lawn of an Oklahoma State fraternity? Because you would think, okay, if we're going to do this and we're going to be dicks, we're going to put it on the lawn of a Texas fraternity. All the current reports that I've seen is this is some type of feud between 2 Oklahoma State fraternities. And why they chose to put a dead Longhorn on the lawn of all of the things that can get you in trouble local, state, and federal crimes. Why are we going to do this?
Let it be said that here on Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, we do not promote animal cruelty.
Bingo.
True.
We're going to move on now to Conference USA, Liberty 49, New Mexico,
Liberty.
Liberty.
New Mexico State 35. This was an okay game to watch.
This is one of the ones I didn't watch.
I
mean,
did
I
watch
kept
this.
up
This
with
is
the
the
score.
one I did, I think. It was fun to watch. It was a lot of back and forth scoring. Not a lot of defense in this one.
It's like a Big 12 game.
Yeah, but it's still fun. SMU 26, Tulane 14. This game was not fun to watch. This was like
It was on in the background for Alex and I as we were watching the Georgia Bama game.
It wasn't great. Wasn't great. You were like Tulane, you were hoping that would like poke it with a stick. You there? Like come to life. I don't think anybody saw this game. Miami of Ohio 23, Toledo 14.
Yeah. Like we said, Mac should have been playing on Wednesday. Should have just leaned into that midweek thing and just go with it.
And then Boise State versus UNLV. Another fun all offense game. Boise wins 44-20. I like this game. This was fun.
All
then they
offense?
Yeah.
UNLV only scored 20. I understand Boise got up high.
Okay. It was very fast paced, Muff.
Okay.
Very fast paced. Peterson was in the former Boise coach Peterson was in the press box for a while talking. He had some interesting insight for the classic game
Mm-hmm.
where they beat Oklahoma. That was fun to listen to. It was a good game. I watched it. And then Troy beats App State 49-23.
Good.
Love that.
Yeah, but I didn't bank on it. I didn't put my money. I didn't put my money where my mouth was on that one. So
Do we need to talk about?
I think you missed a game. You missed a game, Jim.
Yeah, I figured. Michigan beat Iowa 26-0.
To 0. The under 0.5 in the first half. Chalk it up for a win, and they are still drinking at that bar in
I was
Cedar
just going to
Rapids,
say the
Iowa.
poor bar.
That poor bar who offered free drinks until Iowa scored apparently has to continue offering free drinks until next season. And even then, they might have 2 games in before they have to worry about it.
I turned this off after Michigan was up 14.
Because you didn't want to see Iowa's punter just wreck the ball.
The very sight of Jim Harbaugh just anchors me to no end.
And Tony Petiti had a little conversation after the game.
Okay. I hate Jim Harbaugh.
Michigan is the Big Ten champion and the #1 team in the nation.
Okay.
Jim, it's college football. You only have so much of this left. You should
Yeah,
get
don't
fucking
you wanna enjoy
excited.
it?
No.
Jesus.
I never thought we'd get
No.
I never thought we'd get the E rating from Muff.
Well, Jim's just bringing no energy. It's like college football. He's like, oh my God, we only have so many weeks left. And now that we're getting to the last weeks, he's like, well, it's college football. We want to talk about it.
Yeah, Muff. Yeah, I'm not gonna be happy over this shit. This is not exciting.
It's not exciting. College
No.
football is not exciting.
Not when
The
Michigan
Ohio
rolls
Homer.
Iowa.
Ohio State would have done the same thing. But you would
And
have been
I would not-
excited.
Okay, I am the Ohio Homer. That's my role.
Oh, you're a college football guy.
I'm not the Michigan Homer, though.
You didn't get excited for any of this, aside from some of Liberty and a high-scoring Boise State UNLV game.
Those were the games I watched.
Good
I did
deal.
watch the Oregon game. I thought that was a good game.
All
I
right.
don't. But what do you want from me, Muff?
You should be more excited. It's bowl season.
Sure,
We're in a bowl
buddy.
season now. Get pumped.
I'm getting there.
Okay. All right. So the college football final standings came out today, along with the New Year's Six bowls and other bowls are continuing to be announced. the college football final 12. We'll go with 12 because that's what would have been the 12-team playoff if we fast forward a year. So we're going to start at 12, which is Oklahoma, 11 Ole Miss, 10 Penn State, 9 Missouri, 8 Oregon, 7 Ohio State, 6 Georgia, 5 Florida State to get us to the top 4 teams, which are Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama. So, first, let's go through who we think truly are the best 4 teams, which is the College Football Playoff Committee's task, to find the best 4 teams based on these standards they put up, of which one of them includes considering injuries and items of the such, which is what I'm sure the narrative is going to continue to be as they go through this week. So let us all go through who we think the best 4 teams are. We will start with Jim.
This is hard for me. Michigan's obviously number 1. I give them that. Then it gets muddy for me. I would say Georgia, Texas, Alabama.
Okay, Alex?
I would say Michigan. Are we ranking them or just saying top 4?
The best 4 teams in our mind.
The best 4.
But they
not
don't
necessarily
win.
not necessarily 1 through 4,
Okay.
the best 4.
Okay, that would be my thing. It'd be hard to order them, but Michigan, Texas, Washington, Georgia.
Nate?
Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Alabama.
Okay, Nate's very on brand here. I'm going to go with Michigan, Texas, Bama, Georgia. And that would be the order I would put them in as well.
I'd probably go Michigan, Georgia, Texas, Washington if I had to go in my order.
Okay.
If I was not going to get called an Ohio homer, like if it wasn't like, oh, he's just doing it because you're biased, I would take Michigan out and put Oregon.
Out of the top 4?
Out of the 4, I think are the best teams.
Where does Michigan and your rankings then? 5?
5.
So I thought they were your top team right now.
Yeah, you did just say that. You did say they're number 1.
Because I don't want to.
How do they go from 1 to 5?
Because I don't want to catch a bunch of shit.
So you said Oregon pops in there?
They would pop in there.
A 2-loss Oregon pops in?
Yeah.
I don't think that they looked better than Michigan based on their performance against Washington this week.
I think Oregon beats every team in the Big Ten.
I'm not going to sit here and say that they wouldn't all be competitive games. One off, who knows? I mean, it's really those top 6-ish teams all play against each other. Everybody's going to get got sooner or later if they play enough times.
Okay.
All right. Now, who are the 4 most deserving teams?
By the criteria of the committee, correct?
Deserving is who we think the 4 most deserving teams are.
Well, what was best then?
Who we think the 4 best teams are, which is what the college football
Aren't they
committee
the same then?
No. The best doesn't mean you're the most deserving.
Okay.
Starting with Jim.
Michigan, Bama, Georgia, Texas.
Okay. Next, we'll go to Nate.
Michigan, Washington, Texas, Florida State.
Okay. Alex?
I am with Nate. Michigan, Washington, Texas, Florida State.
And I am also in that. So Florida State is the team that makes it into most of this deserving conversation, right? The Power 5 conference champion, undefeated, who beat 2 out-of-conference away games against LSU and Florida and ran the table in their own conference. The only time that a Power 5 undefeated conference champion has not made it into the playoff this year. And the committee did say the Jordan Travis injury did play into their discussions, and that is one of the criterion that they look at is the health of the team, players, injuries, and all of that, which should that be part of an evaluation? I put that question to the group. Do we think that's legitimate and fair for them to use that? I mean, they use it, so there's no arguing that, but do we think that should be one of the criterion?
No.
I think it has to be to some degree.
Okay, why, Nate?
Well, because I think like Joey Galloway put it best. It's like you look at any of those teams in the top 4, if they're without their quarterback, they are a completely different team right now. Like, sure, they might also be undefeated, but I mean, same thing like with an NFL team. You take these starting quarterbacks off the team, you're looking at a completely different team. And quite frankly, I don't want to see any team playing with a second or third string quarterback and saying they're the best team, because then we're going to have a thing like last year when Brock Purdy got hurt. And basically, that's what it's like. You see some of these teams with a backup quarterback.
Isn't Bama on their backup?
No.
He was out for a game.
Okay.
He got he got benched for part of the game, right?
He got benched for a full game, like second week of the season.
All right. Washington, we don't even know who that person is. Michigan, don't know who that person is. I mean, they all get snaps, right?
I don't think they need him though.
I mean, they need somebody serviceable to be able to make throws when they need it. I don't know if that guy can do it. I just don't know.
Of the 4 teams, if they lost him, I think they still have a great chance of performing.
I think of the 4 teams, Penix is the most valuable quarterback to the team. Well, Texas has already won without Ewers.
I just don't like Penix, so I agree. I just don't like him.
Right. So I think Washington has the most to lose without their quarterback in a situation like this. So say Penix gets hurt in the Pac-12 championship game. Do we think that Washington gets left out?
No. And they beat Oregon?
Correct.
No.
Even though they have one loss over, would Florida State be ranked above them in any way?
No.
If Washington were to lose in that game, then yeah, I would put Florida State in over them.
But
I think the problem.
We're saying if they won, and
we knew Penix was out. We knew Penix was out for the playoff.
What is?
I still say no because of the top wins that Washington has over Florida State this year.
I think this might be off topic. I am still shocked that Jim. I feel like you're very anti-Washington, but you're very pro-Oregon.
Yeah.
Washington has beat Oregon twice now.
I know, man.
So how do you not think that Washington's a better team than Oregon if they have beat them twice towards the beginning of the year and towards the end of the year?
Because I think the Bama, the Georgia, the Michigan can handle Washington better than it can handle Oregon.
Well, the Bama and the Georgia handled Bo Nix for multiple years at Auburn without a problem.
I didn't say Bo Nix. I said Oregon.
So if Bo Nix isn't in the game, how's Oregon going to do?
I think they're still a headache for some of those teams.
A headache or a contender?
I would say
I'm just saying Bo Nix is the reason you like Oregon.
No, that's not. I like the coach. I think the coaching is different. I think the speed they have is different. I like Oregon more. I think they're a tougher team than Washington.
But they're not a more winning team. And that I would say typically that matters, but this year it may not matter as much to be a winning team. The AP poll came out.
Wait, we're done with the conversation about Florida State?
I'd continue if you want to talk more about it.
I just think Florida State has no resume to get in. I don't care about the hurt quarterback.
They beat LSU.
Okay.
Who has the Heisman frontrunner right now. They beat potentially the most valuable player in college football.
An LSU team who's not in the top 12 and has a 3-loss team.
Oh, I don't want to sit here and disagree with any of that.
I mean, that's the thing. That's their marquee win is LSU.
Right.
Now, if LSU would have done well the rest of the season, okay. But like Jim said, I don't think the resume is there, but that's no fault of their own. I mean, these schedules were made years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you can only play who's on your schedule. So I get that. But again, whenever you look at these other teams, I still even think when I was watching it live, I still think Georgia should have been ranked ahead of Florida State, but they're not going to drop Florida State from 4 to 6.
I agree with that.
Yeah. So Florida State beat LSU. LSU beat Auburn by 30 points that Bama squeaked away.
And then Auburn lost to New Mexico.
Right. I'm saying, but they look at like components. That's part of what the committee does.
Mm-hmm.
LSU beat Florida by 17. That means that's comparing LSU with Florida State.
This is the one time you're going to do this. He beat them and they beat them and therefore this.
I'm saying the committee says they look at this. I'm not saying that I personally care that much.
I don't give a fuck what they, because they've made their decision and we can't get away from them.
But we can talk about it.
If we rank them ourselves,
yeah.
I would put Oregon ahead of Florida State. Just on what team do I think can win?
Right. You're college football committee right now. Because that's pretty much what they've done. What teams do we want to see? And I conjecture what teams' fan bases do we want to see?
Okay. I think that's a loose argument. I think that there are two teams that have probably stronger fan bases than Texas and Michigan.
Okay, what two teams are they?
Florida State and Georgia, or Ohio State and Georgia.
Okay, well, Georgia played their way out. We weren't going to see them. I do not think Florida State has a better fan base than Texas. Texas? Jesus, Jim. Did you not see the ticket prices for these games? I think ticket prices are a direct reflection of fan base and demand for a product. And the Big 12
will they
and Texas
travel?
Texas?
Oh yeah, man. Texas is back, don't you know?
Texas is always back, and they always have people that are willing to say that forever. Michigan will travel.
I don't see it, bud.
Bama will travel.
I didn't say anything bad about Bama.
I know, I'm just saying, but they got in. I'm saying, in my mind, whether or not they're going to say it out loud, that they can say it in their inside voice, that we want Bama in because we know that Bama's going to bring the fan base. They're going to bring the ratings, and it's a marquee game that we can highlight. Michigan versus Bama. What a game.
Think of the matchups we have though. We got Michigan and Alabama. Okay. It's not the best two matchup we could have had.
But the point is, I think the committee's job's not to give everyone a great two matchup. It's
okay, great. Muff's argument though.
No, I think that's part of their consideration. I'm not saying it's the entire one, but I think they think about it. Right? This is a money-making operation. This is not the NCAA.
Muff, if they wanted money-making operation, they put Ohio State in there at the chance of running back Ohio State, Michigan.
But Ohio State,
the highest rated game.
Yeah, they just don't. It doesn't. That you can't justify that.
That's tougher justification than what they did.
A one-loss Bama and a one-loss Ohio State.
A one-loss conference champion Bama. A one-loss conference champion Texas, and two undefeated conference champions.
Anybody can justify it. It's real easy. Like I can make anything say, "Oh, that's why we did it."
I agree. That's why I think college football. That's why I think this committee is so stupid, because they can just pick the teams, and as long as they can say, I think
they looked at who they beat and put them in. That's, I think, the sole criteria they used. Cool.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's where I'm at.
So it looks. Well, Michigan, right? Michigan's only, two quality wins for Michigan, two top 10 wins, include Penn State and Ohio State. Washington beats Oregon twice, and the Pac-12 had a lot of ranked teams, may not be all the way at the top, but they had a lot of top 25 teams that they beat along the way. Texas beats a top 4 team in Bama, along with the other Big 12 schedule, including Oklahoma State. Alex, who else in there?
Oklahoma. They lost. I'm sorry. Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Kansas. I'm trying to think of all the teams that were like ranked throughout the year. I mean,
WVU.
They didn't play WVU.
They didn't play them.
No.
Damn.
No horns down this year from Alex.
No.
I don't know. To me, it just looks like, okay, the quality of wins, stack them up. Florida State's out, man.
I just don't think it's fair. A Power 5 undefeated conference champion.
Right.
Have your conference be better.
Well, I mean, they played out of conference games
against LSU, yeah,
and Florida, which they can't. They can't project 4 years down the road that Florida's going to not be the team that they want them to be.
I mean, LSU was a good team. That's a good win.
It was a good win. So I mean, right? We won't talk about the whole year, but we could talk a year now. How this is why we went to the 12 team, right? We can get all these teams in, and now we can see how this is going to go.
I think this is the best job they've done. I still don't understand why people are pissed. Michigan.
This is the first year. This is the first year they actually had to put thought into who's going to be the top 4. That's why.
I like
it.
It's
pretty much cut and dry.
I love it. This is good stuff.
You love it. The AP disagrees with, I guess, all of us in our top 4 because they put Florida State at 4, followed by Bama, Georgia, Ohio State, and the list goes on, exactly as the College Football Playoff Committee put it. So they're obviously the AP. It's going to be the AP. And of course, with the AP, we know that that's where the writers are going to be. So we're going to hear about this forever until Florida State maybe loses their bowl game to
Georgia.
Georgia.
I had to look.
That's
and
gonna
find
be
it.
a romping.
Right, and I think that's
how
the committee's statement, right? Georgia is probably going to be favored by 10 plus, if not more, in that game. It's like, why would we put Florida State in if we know this is what's going to happen? So
I think the reason they put Florida State Georgia together is because both fan bases are probably pissed they're not in, so they just put them against each other.
pissed off bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be to the committee. We told you we should have been in bowl.
That's it.
But at the
That's
same
it.
time, I'm wondering, like, what's each team's motivation other than that? It's like Georgia's probably thinking we're the 2-time defending champs. We lose one game by a damn field goal. So are they going to come out flat thinking this game means nothing? And then same thing with Florida State. Are they just going to be butthurt and not show up? Or are they going to come out hair on fire and say, screw you guys, we're the UCF of 2023, undefeated national champs, self-proclaimed.
That'd be cool.
I mean, they may have the best case to say that if they beat Georgia. It would be interesting, and obviously we always have to talk about the opt-outs, which are probably going to start coming. Let's go through.
Wait. I like that point that we kind of just glazed over. I think everybody's glazing over. I think the media is hoping it's not as detrimental as it could be, but they did, under the Florida State fan base logic, they punished us because our quarterback got hurt. How many of those top 4 teams do you think those guys are going to opt out? Do you think anybody's going to opt out?
Not if you're a top 4.
I think we have 1, maybe 2. Who knows?
Who do you think's opting out?
It's happened every year. Somebody opts out of the bowl game.
Okay, well, I'm saying, of who do you think? What team, or is there a person in mind that you think is going to opt out?
I don't have one dead ahead. I just think the possibility exists. So,
Like Michigan, JJ McCarthy, Blake Corum. Those would be the 2 high-profile guys, right?
they're Michigan men. They're not gonna.
Right.
I'm
Washington.
sorry, but if you're in a
Penix.
national semifinal and you opt out, you are immediately off my draft board.
Washington, you've got Ndunze and Penix would be the 2 most high profile on that team. Texas, I don't even know because Ewers isn't going to opt out.
No.
I don't even know who's else is on that team. Alex, you know anybody else?
Xavier Worthy.
Xavier Worthy. He got banged up in the championship. The Texas with Quinn Ewers and Texas without Quinn Ewers are night and day. I mean, they looked amazing versus Oklahoma State, but they look like dog poop without him. And
That's what they're saying about Florida State.
that's what I was just gonna say. That's my only argument is if they're like, look at Florida. We thought Texas, we had written them off. Was it Texas said that they were one of the teams this weekend they wrote us off, but we ain't right back.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Bama, they just did it to be smart aleck.
I just think that I don't agree with holding somebody back because of an injury, because people can opt out. So
But
to
I
say,
feel like-
well, they're not going to have their quarterback. Well, a lot of teams might not have another player.
But I feel like you just argued the other way.
Yeah.
How?
Did you just argue for Florida
I thought you were
State?
saying that you agreed that Florida State shouldn't be in because of the Jordan Travis injury.
I did not say that. I said they're not
Oh.
the greatest team.
Oh, okay.
I
Right,
was
which is
very
what the
careful.
football committee is saying.
With or
But
without.
I don't think it's with or without. I don't think they're the greatest team.
Okay. With
That's what I'm saying.
including Jordan Travis.
even
at
without
that.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Okay. Even without.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
But I agree on the premise of you can't fault a team because somebody got hurt.
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to all
Especially
the
when you put
guys.
Ohio State in how many years ago with Cardale Jones playing half a game of Michigan.
All right, but at least he showed in that half a game that there was promise. So say Florida State wins by 4+ touchdowns. Is this a different conversation?
Absolutely.
Oh, if they ran, yes.
right? So I mean,
For them, not for me, for them it would have been.
well, that's what I'm saying. 4+ touchdown. When do they get into the playoff?
I think the committee would put him in, just like they did Ohio State when they beat Wisconsin in the
Like
Big
50,
Ten for
right?
45 to nothing.
Right.
But he only had a game and a half, so like the logic didn't. That is conflicting with the committee.
But wasn't Ohio State undefeated that same season, or am I thinking of this wrong?
Yeah, say nah, they might have lost.
No, they were undefeated. I think they had
Yeah.
lost. They probably would have been in a bad spot
Yeah,
that particular season because they were undefeated because they just romped over Wisconsin in that Big Ten championship game. I mean, and Cardale Jones showed out, right? He doesn't show out in that game. There may be a different discussion. Maybe. I'm not going to say there would be, but there may be.
Yeah, because they showed that they were more complete than this year's Florida State. I mean, Florida State were down like 2 scores early before Jordan Travis even got hurt, and they finally woke up. The Florida game was a struggle, which is your in-state rival. But still, if you want to say you're one of the 4 best teams, you expect to dominate on both sides of the ball, not just one.
Well, yeah, Auburn, right? Auburn, Alabama.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You squeak out on
yeah, but
Miracle
you throw
play.
an asterisk in that because of the rivalry.
Rivalry week.
Rivalry.
right. Well, that's what I'm saying, but that's why you can't hold Florida's win against Florida State all the same. Like if
I'm
that's well, I'm
I'm
saying,
not.
but if the committee was saying we wish we'd have done better against Florida, you could say the same thing with Alabama.
I don't think that was even a factor.
All right. The other New Year's Six bowls include in the Cotton Bowl, Ohio State versus Missouri. In the Peach Bowl, Penn State versus Ole Miss. And the aforementioned Orange Bowl, Georgia versus Florida State. And then the Fiesta Bowl, Oregon versus, I don't want to say a sacrificial lamb, but I feel like this is a sacrificial lamb pending Bo Nix's status.
That game could go one of 2 ways. It can either be a complete slaughter by the Ducks, or it could be really competitive, like Tulane and USC was last year.
Mm-hmm. And high scoring, right? If Bo Nix play, well, yeah, Bo Nix plays definitely, but I think this is one of those opt-out opportunities potentially.
Oh yeah, I will be surprised if Bo Nix plays, to be honest.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're an Oregon player going to the NFL, what's the point in playing in this game? With Liberty, they've got everything to play for.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this could be a really high-scoring, entertaining game, right? Liberty's a good offense, so this could be one of the most fun to watch in my mind.
But like, if we ever had a slate of New Year's Six bowls where they all are like, "Hey, that's a pretty good matchup."
Oh no, we never do because you always have the non-power 5 that's in there that may.
I think this is good. I think this round of 6 that they've given us is, on a whole, for the last 5 years, probably the best one.
So wait, okay, go down and pick a winner in each of the New Year's Six games.
I don't know that I can.
Just
let's do exercise and fun. Let's start with Ohio State, Missouri.
Depends on who plays for Ohio State.
Missouri.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea. Missouri's running back still has something to prove in this game because right, he still probably wants to get some draft stock. So I bet he plays at least for the first half.
Ryan Day had his press conference today and hinted at many a person in the portal coming and going.
In the portal. Yeah.
And he wasn't very confident when he said we have something to play for. Our guys want to end the year right. That was his one hint at that Missouri game. So I could see some opt-outs, some transfer portals, some
nothing good.
Yeah.
As far as who's available.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to say Missouri just because I don't know enough about Missouri, but I don't think they're going to have as many opt-outs.
Right.
In my mind. So I think they're going to be a more complete team that's coming into that game. So that's what I'm going to go with Missouri. Nate?
I think Missouri comes out early and gets a battle, but I think Ohio State probably just has too much depth given the tradition of that program and the recruiting. Because, I mean, Missouri, this is just like, a 1 year, I don't want to say a 1 year wonder because you never know what's going to happen, but they kind of just came out of nowhere this year. So
I think
that's why I think Ohio State's going to be able to edge them out just because they're going to have the depth over Missouri.
I think a good game.
I mean, I hope so. We want them all to be good. The Peach Bowl, Penn State, Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
I think we know Jim's riding the lane train. Jackson Dart going to make it through this game?
I don't know. He's got a
Jackson
month to get
Darden, where
ready.
it is yet.
I think of all the bowl games for the New Year's Six, this one has the best opportunity to be a close game.
Yeah, Penn State, I bet you get some opt-outs on the defensive side of the ball. I expect that. On the offensive side of the ball, I bet Penn State's left tackle is projected top 5 draft pick, like top 5 overall draft pick, probably sits out. I would say the rest of the offense probably remains pretty intact for this game, though.
You think they let Drew Aller air it out?
Right? They
I feel
just
like he
hired,
looked better when they did.
they just hired a new offense. Well, that's against Michigan State. I think that's totally different. They just hired a new offensive coordinator, so he's obviously going to probably be on the sidelines for this game, I would imagine. So we'll talk. We can talk about it now, but he was at Kansas, and he's good with the 2 quarterback system, which I think was very strategic to keep Bo Pribula at Penn State, not let him transfer like Will Levis did from Penn State. So I think those players are going to have something to prove to the new offensive coordinator on film, the ones that are coming back. So I'm going to go with Penn State, obviously. Alex?
I think. Go ahead.
Oh, I like Penn State here.
Nate?
I think I like Ole Miss here. I think Lane's going to have something up his sleeve.
Good. Jim?
Of course, Ole Miss.
No, I thought you had something else to say when Alex was starting.
The Ohio State quarterback situation and the Penn State quarterback situation in these bowl games is going to be something to keep your eye on. I don't think Ryan Day is sold on McCord. Again, things he said at the press conference today led a lot of them to believe bowl practice could be the decider for the starter. And I think Penn State's going to get tricky with their quarterback situation.
Well, they're gonna use them both well. I think.
I would say beyond well. I'm going to say that Mr. Franklin will have a couple wrinkles in his repertoire.
Okay. All right, moving on to the Orange Bowl, Georgia, Florida State, Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia's going to make this a statement game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in that spot. And in the Fiesta Bowl, Oregon versus Liberty.
Oregon.
Quack, quack.
I'm just going to be a contrarian here. I'm going to take Liberty.
Okay.
Just
Liberty, what, to win or to cover?
Liberty. We just said win. I'm going to take Liberty to win. That's what I'm going to do. And let's go into the semifinals. Michigan, Bama.
Michigan.
Jim says Bama. Alex says Michigan. Nate.
Bama. I mean, did you see the way that the Michigan players reacted when they saw they were playing Bama, not Florida State? They're like,
Oh, I know. It was bad. They were like, "Ooh."
I think even Harbaugh was probably grinding his teeth going, shit, Nick Saban in the semifinal? Can I at least make the final first?
We didn't scout them.
Right.
I'm gonna go with Michigan.
Did you see where the Missouri coach dropped the hint that what's his name's gonna be helping him out with the Ohio State game plan?
Yeah.
Carter
He's going
Stallions.
to call
Yeah.
Connor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. They can laugh about it. Reese Davis didn't know what to do. He's like, this coach really just said this to me. What? If I'm not supposed to do this. And then Washington, Texas in the other one. Alex?
Texas.
Jim?
It's a homer take, but Texas.
Jim?
My heart says Texas.
Well, you hate Washington, so
Yeah.
I think we knew that was coming, Nate.
I'm going Texas only because I don't think Washington's defense is gonna be able to hold up.
Yeah, I think this could be one of the more entertaining of the two in my mind. Semifinals. I'm gonna go with Texas as well.
Scoring.
Yeah, very much so. Could be lots of
Georgia
fun.
is a 14 plus 4 or negative 14.
Your 14-point
favorite.
favorite.
I couldn't get my brain right. Unbelievable.
Is it?
Yeah.
You think it's unbelievable?
I just said so, Muff. I don't know why you keep challenging me. Tonight.
I'm just not sure.
He's just making sure.
We just talked about this whole Florida State thing. I don't know why it's unbelievable that Georgia's a two touchdown favorite.
I would say 3 touchdown favorites. What they?
Oh,
should.
you think it should be higher?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the 2 semifinal games, according to FanDuel, Texas opens up as a 4.5-point favorite, and Michigan opens up as a 1.5 point favorite.
Yeah. They got to pick them in the Rose Bowl. All right. Any other conversation on this whole situation, gents?
No.
All right. Let's go real quick into the Heisman. The update right now, Jaden Daniels is the overwhelming favorite for the Heisman Trophy, minus 1450 odds, followed by Penix, who's at plus 1200, Nix at plus 2500, Milrow at plus 10,000, and then JJ McCarthy and Maserati Marv at plus 25,000. Who do we think is getting the call to go to the Athletic Club?
Penix.
Well, what four? Are they four? We saying four or three go?
I think 3 go.
Three go. Okay, so what three do we think go?
I think it's obviously got to be the 3 that have the highest odds.
Is it obvious?
Yeah, it's going to be Daniels, Penix, and Nix that go.
Okay.
Ugh. Yeah.
Any
sure.
disagreement?
I don't see how a guy who's lost 3 games is a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, you lose 3 games. I mean, I don't care what your numbers say. You're playing on a team that has 3 losses. And plus, it's like LSU was on TV early, but I feel like lately they haven't been on the national TV circuit to actually watch this guy play.
Yeah, that's the argument against. I'm not going to say that. Bo Nix ruined his chances in the big Pac-12 championship game. Granted, he was at the championship game, which Jaden Daniels could not do in the SEC. Jaden Daniels' season was statistically better than Joe Burrow when they won the national championship. So if you're just looking at straight to statistics, I think that's where he has blown people away. If he did not have that overwhelming statistical advantage, I think, yes, he's probably a second, third chair to Penix and Nix, and potentially even others. So I agree that the 3 quarterbacks are going to be the ones that get there. I would have liked to see another position player get there. If Marvin Harrison had a better last few games as far as statistically, I think that would have been fun to have him there as well.
Yeah, I think, being there, he could do that, but I don't think he would win it ever.
No, not. You would have to have just an outrageous season. All right. Other college football news, Jim alluded to this. Matt Rule commented on how much it's going to cost to get a top tier QB, saying it's $1.5 to $2 million in the portal. Do we think this commentary is for the world to consume, or is this a message that Matt Rule is sending to his boosters?
I think it's a message for the world. I mean, that is the truth. The truth.
Do you think there was any booster situation in there, or is that just included with the world?
I think it's included. But
I mean, I think he's dropping the wink to the booster, but
I hate the fact that this is a thing in college football. I know, Meal Guy on the Porch.
that's why this whole NIL thing is just going to be crazy.
I just don't like it.
Right. And in probably very related news, Duke quarterback Riley Leonard entered the transfer portal and immediately put a no contact designation to his name, which to me, I don't know if this is the world, but begs the question of how much discussion and recruiting may be going on prior to him even being in the portal. Or is this, I'm going to control who talks to me and I don't want every team contacting me just because?
I think it's a little skeptical. It's like, oh, so you're too good to even be contacted by my school? Like, what happens if he thinks he wants to reach out? And I know the notes say that there's speculation he goes to Notre Dame. But let's say he thinks he wants to go to Ohio State, for example. If he reaches out to Ohio State and they're like, dude, no. So it's like, well, shit, maybe I shouldn't have put that no contact on there.
Ohio State's not going to say no. I'll tell you that much. And I wanted to say this on your last point, but I guarantee, based on what Ryan Day said today, with competitions and portals and blah, 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 and he wouldn't get grilled down about if Kyle's going to be the starter for the bowl game, guarantee as soon as they lost that Ohio State game, the boosters went, how much do you need to get a quarterback? Would bet my life on it.
How much do you need and who do you want?
I think that's exactly what happened.
There's a speculation that Riley Leonard's going to end up at Notre Dame. I think there's a lot of like social media, who's following who, buzz and stuff like that going down. Obviously, Notre Dame's definitely in the market for a quarterback.
They got a direct fund with the Pope. Like their bank accounts in the Vatican.
That's an unlimited bank account.
They're set.
Touchdown Jesus. Touchdown Jesus gives the money to
That's what
whoever
Alex
needs
is
it.
trying to do tonight. With
Ah.
Alex's light above his head, he's touchdown Jesus tonight.
There you go.
The light. In other news around college football, the coaching carousel has begun. Of initial note, Indiana has hired Kurt Signetti as a head coach, formerly at James Madison, and he immediately came out with a message to the world. Whew.
Are we gonna play the message?
Oh, we sure are. We sure are.
Yay!
We're gonna get
Oh Lord!
Him being introduced at the Indiana basketball game. Very low quality. Very low quality.
You better have something to say.
Yinzer right there. Straight Yinzer.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yes, sir. That's my coach. I fucking love this guy.
I fucking love this guy.
I don't think there's a more appropriate Yinzer entry than that.
But you
Yeah.
know what? That's what that fan base needs.
No, I agree.
They need to have somebody who's cutthroat. Ohio State needs that.
I was just gonna say, could you imagine if Ohio State got a coach where they just walked out and they're like, Michigan sucks?
No,
We
they
did.
have
His
to.
name was Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer. Both of them came out on their press conferences and said that kind of shit.
What did Ryan Day say, Jim?
We're gonna beat the team up north.
What? What did the other two do?
Oh, they were like,
They were intense.
yeah, they were said, this is what we're gonna eat, sleep, and breathe. That game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Indiana, we'll see what happens, but they got a new coach who's at least hyping him up. Penn State hired former Kansas offensive coordinator Andy Kotelnicki to the same role. I already talked a little bit about what I think about his 2-quarterback system experience. I think it's going to be it's a great hire for Penn State. Let's just hope that he can get the things going quickly for that fan base. Tulane's head coach Willie Fritz leaves for the same position at Houston to replace Dana Holgorsen.
I don't know if I mean, I get it. But
I mean, Tulane's been one of the best group of fives the past couple of years, though. So I like that hire for Houston.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Tulane's been good. Dana Holgerson's gone. Pack your bags and get out of my face, Dana.
Don't forget your Red Bull.
Yeah. Go Cougs.
Michigan State hires Jonathan Smith from Oregon State to make their head coaching position solidified going into the offseason.
That's a good hire, more so than the Willie Fritz hire. Concerning Oregon State has no conference next year, and you see what he's done with that team the past couple of years, getting them in the top 25 consistently. But man, does he have a lot of work ahead of him at Michigan State.
Indeed. I'd imagine he might get some players from Oregon State to transfer portal to come his way. And at Duke, Ohio State, is it Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State's defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles, is in line, in talks. Basically, they're packing his bags to go to Duke.
How do you feel about that, Jim?
Very pissed off.
Very upset?
Very.
What if they took Larry Johnson with him?
That doesn't bother me.
That doesn't bother you?
No.
The mainstay on that defense for the past 10-ish years doesn't bother you if he's gone?
The last three, unless we're going to blame Ryan Day for that, the last three, the defensive line has not been killer.
You mean they don't blame Ryan Day for that?
They don't. They do blame him. I'm saying it's I just don't see it.
All right. All right. So we'll see. There'll be more, obviously, in this head coaching carousel as we continue in the offseason, which brings us into the NFL, starting with Thursday night football. Dallas and Seattle finally make up for all the primetime unders and put on a points show with them boys, winning 41-35. This game featured count 'em, zero punts for the 5th time in NFL history.
You didn't have to because the penalty yards got you close enough to score every time. This was the biggest ref show. It was bad.
It's the Joe Flacco Bowl. Just throw it up, and there's either going to be a completion or a flag.
Yeah.
What do we think about Dallas? Is this saying more about Dallas or Seattle? Is this just kind of status quo for both teams now?
I think it shows that Seattle can score, but I think it shows the same question marks that Dallas always has is what can they do in a big game? Yeah, they put up 41 points, but can you stop anybody if you need to?
Right.
I mean, Seattle's not the most dynamic offense. Granted, they were without Kenneth Walker. So if that's what you're doing against Seattle, granted, I know it's a short week, but blah, blah, blah. You're playing at home, which they showed a big thing about Dallas's numbers, whether they're playing on grass versus playing on turf.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yeah, you got to win in prime time. Congratulations. But I still think you have a lot of unanswered questions on defense.
Yeah, DK Metcalf just absolutely dominated Deron Bland for the most part. Bland got an interception later in the game, but Metcalf
didn't return it for a touchdown, though.
Well, still got the INT though, but that was something that was interesting that there was a lot of discussion about the next day and during that game is right. Bland is supposed to be this guy, and he's got this record, but DK Metcalf is just beasting on him. So, all right, moving into Sunday football, starting with the Colts and the Texans as Derrick Henry scores.
Colts and the Titans.
Colts and the Titans as Derrick Henry scores not once but twice before leaving with an injury, but it isn't enough as Michael Pittman Jr. caps off a career day in overtime with a touchdown from Gardner Minshew to go along with 11 catches, 105 yards in the air. Colts win 31-28.
Yeah, I had this on Red Zone, and I really thought that the Titans were to come in and win that, get the home crown behind it, but now they fall to 4-8. So I don't know what's going to happen there. I mean, Jim, you think your boy Mike Vrabel might leave and come be your new DC?
I hope so. And then coach in waiting.
Coach in waiting.
Yeah.
Who's he going to bring in? Bobby. He's going to bring Bobby, AJ, and the boys.
Give it to me all day long.
Pump that straight in your face. Those kids wouldn't know what to do with their lives. There'd be so much intensity.
I would be ecstatic. Bring in Schlegel too as the strength coach.
Jim, they're going to seriously injure somebody.
I'm
not saying with their workouts. I'm saying one of them is going to hurt somebody in practice.
That would be I'm down. Put some toughness in these kids.
Goodness. Chargers and the Patriots. A cold and rainy day leads to absolutely outrageously terrible football as the Chargers get 2 field goals and only one was needed as they pull out a 6-0 shutout over the Patriots. Nate, go ahead and put your little tidbit in here.
So I saw this on the social medias, and they talked about it on somewhere else earlier. So Belichick team now falls to 2-10. I don't know when the last time the Patriots had 10 losses in a season, but the Patriots also become the first team since 1938 to allow 10 points or fewer in 3 straight games to lose them all.
I don't think they have any answers on the offensive side
Maybe
of the ball.
Belichick leaves. Maybe he enters the carousel.
He's not coming to college, Jim.
No, he would not make it in college, I don't think.
No.
Only if he was going to
Doesn't have
Navy.
to.
Only if he was going to Navy. That's the only
Right.
college job he's going to take is at Navy.
But yeah, I mean, that's just got to be so deflating as a defensive player to give up 10 points or less and you can't even win the game.
They ass. They're ass as I forget.
Their
who said
quarterback
that.
play. Yes.
Their whole team is. Next are the Lions at the Saints. Huh?
Just ask Jabril Peppers.
I know, that's what he said. They asked. He said we're asked to Saquon Barkley last week, and then he had to apologize. I don't know what he's apologizing for. He's just stating the truth. Lions at the Saints. Detroit gets back in that win column as they defeat the Saints 33-28. Derek Carr leaves after leading the Saints back into this one after trailing 21-0 early. We've already talked about Mr. Chain Crew guy on the sideline going out with Nate. This is just a lower body injury. I think we can
Like
safely
hockey,
assume
lower body injury.
this is hockey.
Yeah, lower body injury, potentially might be bow-legged for life.
Ugh.
Oh
Only
man.
in one leg.
Right, the Lions came out hot in this one, and then they let the Saints back into the game. So I think it's good that the Lions got out in this one. They put up 33 points, but not good that their defense continues to struggle.
I was gonna say that. Do you have like a any concern about the fact that the Lions couldn't hang on to that oomph, or do you think it was just a fluke that they started that hot? And
I think the Lions defense has been lackluster all season, and this is just another example.
Yeah, I mean, to be any sort of contender, to get up that big of a lead early, you want to be able to see your team put another team away, especially when it's a team that's not really in the hunt right now. I mean, well, everybody in the NFC South is in the hunt. But for a team, I think was 5-7 coming in, and you're 8-3 coming in, you expect to not only win that game, but should win it convincingly.
I agree with that 100%. Next, the Falcons take on the Jets, and the Jets remain grounded, literally and figuratively, as they stall against Hotlanta 13-8. Tim Boyle was benched in the second half in this one, and bring in Trevor Siemian. Falcons win. Falcons win. Falcons win.
I feel like there was a lot of lackluster NFL happenings today.
Yeah, it was bad too.
There was a lot of discussion going into this week that this was going to be like the week that we're going to forget about.
Yeah, I mean, I think every game from like the Midwest all the way to the East Coast, it was raining.
Yeah, that didn't help. It didn't help at all. For the Jets, Aaron Rodgers obviously has started to practice. If the Jets are out of any contention, will Aaron Rodgers come back and play for New York?
If he does, he's a dumbass.
He was like talking about how he's not afraid to come back and re-injure it and this, that, and the other, and how like it's just not something that even goes through his mind. He's gonna try to make a point and play.
I hate Aaron Rodgers too.
There's no news there.
He's like one step below Harbaugh.
Below like worse or below like 1-2?
Worse. Like Harbaugh won, him too.
Okay, so Harbaugh's still worse.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. I do. Yeah, I think that he will try to make some type of point. So we will see what happens in New York. Cardinals Steelers. The Steelers offense can't put together 2 weeks in a row. No over 400 yards this game. They fall to the Cardinals, who came in this game 2-10 by a final score of 24-10. Kenny Pickett goes out in the first half and is seen in a walking boot in the second half. Is he the reincarnate of Ben Roethlisberger, or is he going to potentially miss some time?
I saw a report earlier that said it's actually more significant than they think, and he might be out a couple weeks.
Alex, how we feeling?
I mean, I don't know at this point that it really matters much if we're playing with Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett.
Do we need to put Mason in there?
I did see a meme about that today. About him coming.
Yeah,
in
it was
today.
like you hear chants for Mason.
Yeah.
And it's just Mason rooting for himself.
It's him and Sam in the corner. Mason.
Are you trying to hurt my feelings? Because we broke up.
Oh, you did? I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah, Mitch the bitch and I are together now.
What's
As
Mason's?
well as-
What was Mason's nickname?
Mason.
Daddy.
I don't think he had a nickname.
You didn't have a cool nickname.
No.
You and Mitch, huh? You and Mitch.
Me and Mitch.
You and
My
Mitch.
boy.
Is it to be honest? Is it time to at least give Mason a shot?
Who cares?
Who cares? Jim, do you care?
No.
What do you have anything you want to say aside from negative comments?
This is a garbage game. Garbage teams.
Okay.
On to the next.
Dolphins taking on the Commanders. The Dolphins improved to 9-3 to keep up that pace for the 1 seed in the AFC by putting it to the Washington Commanders 45-15. Tyreek Hill Another hot day. 157 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has less than 600 to get to the 2,000 with 5 games left. Do we think Tyreek Hill makes this happen?
Yes.
I think Mike McDaniel's going to do everything in his power to make it happen.
I agree. Is this any type of statement win for the Dolphins, or is this what we should have expected?
I think it's what you would expect, but given the weather today, I'm kind of a little bit surprised they were able to put up that many points.
I think this is a good foundation win here.
The only thing about that, though, is you keep seeing every time that Dolphins play a game, it's like, oh, yeah, they're doing all this against the bad teams, and then they play teams with winning records or teams that are worth a damn or whatever, and they kind of struggle a little bit. But, I mean, they're just taking care of business when they're supposed to.
I agree. They got to put it together against the good teams. That's what the end of the season and the playoffs are for. Next, Broncos taking on the Texans. Houston ends Denver's winning streak as their defense steps up, forcing 3 interceptions in a 22-17 win. Nico Collins shows up big after Tank Dell goes out with a fractured fibula as Nico Collins has 191 yards receiving.
Yeah, Tank Dell's out for the season.
Yeah, that's a big blow for
Yeah.
Houston there.
Yep. We will see how that impacts the rest of their season and their passing attack, but a good win for the Texans, right? Broncos were coming on hot, so this is a statement win of we can beat the streaking teams, we can beat the teams that are coming into us on a streak.
All
Good.
right.
Like it.
Panthers, go ahead, Alex.
I just said I like it.
I like it. Panthers Bucks. Frank Reich ousted last week along with assistant head coach and running backs coach Deuce Staley and quarterback coach Josh McCown for the Panthers. Mike Evans contributes for 162 of the team's 202 passing yards, including a 75-yard touchdown and a buck squeak by Carolina 21-18.
And he secured his 10th straight 1,000-yard receiving season. Mike Evans did.
Is that a record to start your career, I believe?
Yeah, he extended his own record.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that he set one, but I didn't realize.
Nate, you
Yeah,
obviously got a chance to watch this game.
Last year. Yeah, I got to see a little bit of it on Red Zone. And then Panthers Brian Burns, I can't remember if it was actually an extra point or what it had to have been with given 21. And I don't know what the heck was going on. And they just got into like a little, not melee, but what was called a gentleman's disagreement. He comes up with a big open hand and slaps the face mask of whatever offensive lineman for the Bucks and got tossed for throwing a punch. So things are just going from bad to worse in Carolina. I think that makes them 1-11.
Yeah, they bad.
They
They
bad.
are really bad. Browns at the Rams. Joe Flacco gets a start for Cleveland in this one, but Amari Cooper, one of his weapons, leaves with a concussion. The Rams pull away late behind timely defensive stops and win 36-19.
It was so odd to see Flacco wearing orange.
Yeah, it was. It was just weird seeing Flacco playing football again, to be honest.
He's on the practice
Yeah, I think
squad
they said
last
it-
week.
Yeah, I think they said it was his first game in almost a year.
Straight from the practice squad into the fire. Here's Aaron Donald. Get away from him. Sorry, I'm not going to do that anyway. In the marquee game in the afternoon slate on Sunday, the 49ers take on the Eagles, and the 49ers flex them big old muscles, winning 42-19. Deebo Samuel with 3 touchdowns. McCaffrey also had one. They both account for 100-plus all-purpose yards. Philly only rushes for less than 50 in the game,
Jalen Hurt got a concussion.
but then came back in.
That makes sense.
Well, he was evaluated for a concussion.
Fair enough.
And
I
then,
just saw the blurb where he got a concussion. Didn't
wow,
realize he
yeah,
came back in.
yeah. And the big news in this one, we had some ejections, Nate.
We did. We already mentioned this a little bit ago, but
Mhm.
D lineman Dre Greenlaw and Eagles head of security Big Dom both ejected after getting into a little gentleman's disagreement, as we'll call it again, on the Philly sideline.
Mhm.
But still, it's like I knew teams had like head of security guys, but what the heck is he doing that close to the field to begin with?
Yeah, I don't know how long he's been in Philly, but he's definitely one of Sirianni's guys. They like show him with him a lot afterwards. There was like a little montage I found, and it was like they're buddies. I also saw pregame in this one that the 49ers just ran through a defensive back drill of the Eagles before this game even started that caused a little bit of a thing. So I think the 49ers came in here with a chip on their shoulder, wanting to prove, hey, we got Brock, we're doing our thing, we're just going to dominate, and they did.
Well, and I saw a thing too. They said the Niners were coming off 10 days of rest, and this was the Eagles' third game in 2 weeks because of like Thursday night and Monday night, whatever.
Yes, they had 10 days of rest, but I think prior to that, I think they were on a short slate. So that looks like a big deal, but I think prior to that, the 49ers had a couple quick games. So I don't think
Right, but 10 days rest versus Eagles' third game in 13 days. I'm
Oh,
sure that played a factor in it, but given the outcome, I don't know how much of a factor it truly was.
right. There we go. And right now in Sunday Night Football with the Chiefs at the Packers, what's our live look in?
Right now, we are at the 2-minute warning with the Packers up 14-6.
Ooh. Taylor Swift's in the house. How's Travis doing?
As is Simone Biles.
And clearly distracting.
He usually plays better with her there.
You think that's what it was? Bad couple games. He's like, Taylor, please come to the game. I don't care about your fucking tour. Come to the game.
Get here. We need you. Team needs you. And then Brittany Mahomes is like, yeah, we need to talk. Let's chat. Come sit
She's
with
the
me.
most annoying bitch up there.
Moving on to Monday football. Bengals versus the Jets. The first Monday night football
Bengals,
game. Jaguars. Seeing the J, just going with it. Bengals Jags, first Monday night football game in Duval since 2011. Since the last one, a road Monday night football game in 1990. Jesus, I would not have ever predicted that, given the run they've been on since Joe Burrow has been there.
Yeah, I had to look that up because I know I heard about the whole Jacksonville not having a Monday night game in years. And when I looked it up, it was the next blurb underneath. It's like they're 3-20 all time on Monday night away games and haven't won one since 1990. It's like, holy crap. But like you said, you definitely would have thought, given the recent successes, that they would have been on a Monday night game and probably on the road at least one of those times.
Yeah, that's exactly what I've expected. All right, that wraps up this week's NFL games, which brings some other news. We have our first flex games coming to fruition now. The Chiefs in Week 15 were flexed out of the Monday Night Football game against the Patriots. Surprise, surprise, given how that has been going. And they were replaced with the Eagles Seahawks. I feel like that's a good game to flex into the Monday Night Football here in a couple weeks.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't disappoint in their Thursday night spot, so.
Right. The Eagles now have 3 standalone games in weeks 14 through 16, including Sunday Night Football against the Cowboys, the Monday night aforementioned game that just happened, and they will play the Giants on Christmas Day. The Eagles about to be in your face.
Eagles are going to suck. I mean, the Giants-Eagles game is going to suck, but Eagles-Dallas again will be fun, and so Eagles-Seahawks won't be bad.
I hope so. Apparently, J.J. Watt is now a journalist. He broke the news of Cards tight end Zach Ertz parting ways with the team to seek another team to finish out the season. Anybody else think this was just interesting that J.J. Watt was the one that broke this?
No.
I mean, I think it's kind of funny.
It's his old teammate. Or no, I'm sorry. He was there.
He was just
in Arizona.
That took me. I was like, Texans. No, he was at both.
But yeah, I think I saw early indications where like he might go back to Philly, or he might go to what was the other one I saw? Someone else that just lost a tight end to injury for a little while.
Well,
I can't keep in my mind right now.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to end up somewhere that we can be sure of. I think some team will definitely want him in their lineup.
Yeah. Then the other guy they said that's probably going to sign somewhere this week too is former linebacker for the Colts, Shaq Leonard.
Yeah. Yep. That was kind of a falling out of the team and him, and after a very promising start to his career. All right. Tyreek Hill has committed to pay the remaining salary this year of the man who allowed Hill to film himself after a touchdown this season doing a back flip. Because this man, I forget the name, was suspended by the league from his role on the sidelines as a photographer.
So I've seen the TikTok of this guy basically telling his story. He's a social media guy who got enough buzz and made enough connections that the NFL hired him on a 1-year deal to video Dolphins games because that's where he was from.
Mhm.
The shit of it is like the NFL suspended him because Tyreek Hill took a phone out of his hand and videoed himself doing a backflip while the kid who was friends with Tyreek mocked taking a picture with his hands. So maybe he was a part of the celebration and that pissed you off.
Yes, I think that's the biggest point for
Mhm.
them.
But like he didn't do anything wrong in terms of like he wasn't like, hey, stand here, I'm gonna do this. Like Tariq took the phone out of his hand.
Yeah, but
They're saying they have a
And
relationship.
they planned it beforehand. Like, hey, if I score, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, because I think if you go back, Jim, into the archives of his TikToks or whatever, that guy has been like a personal videographer for Tyreek.
Sure, but again, I don't see how that's a problem. Let it live.
Yeah, I don't either. I'll take that over the whole damn defense running down to the end zone and doing some ass dance
And
because they
it's
got a fumble
stupid.
recovery. Yeah.
They
not
said
even
they may. The
creative.
NFL said they may not credential him ever again. Like not just suspended this year, but you may not ever be able to be on sidelines as a credential.
Dumb.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think this is the NFL going one step too far.
One.
The no fun league.
It's the no fun league.
Unless you're on the team, you can do a group photo in the end zone. That's the only fun.
The only fun you're allowed to have. All right, we're gonna move on from the NFL and get into other interesting news in sports.
Other interesting
News and sports.
I was just trying to prompt you.
Starting with college basketball, as the Bayou Barbie Angel Reese has returned to LSU basketball within the past week, and following her first game back press conference, she said, "I feel like that's just something that was important in resetting and refocusing within the team. I'm just happy to be back." Went on to further say, "I'm not just an athlete, I'm a human," and had said, and this is me paraphrasing, that she had regular conversations with Shaq, who told her that this too will pass. You feel this good thing for LSU basketball to have her back on the team?
If she this is a
her
difficult
head on her
topic
shoulder.
for me. You see, I wanted to avoid that. If she does what she's there to do, and that's go to school and be on the team, it's great. I don't want to go so far as like what the media is doing and making her a diva because we don't know the story. Now, if she was like, fuck school, I'm going to these after parties with Shaq and all them, then
She came out and made a Cardale Jones.
I was about to say the same thing. Make a Cardale Jones thing. We say we're not here to play school.
yeah.
We not here to play.
I don't know. I just don't want to see this detract from college football or college basketball that the women are kicking ass in. That's my only fear.
Right, because I mean, all of this, her, Caitlin Clark. I mean, you got Paige Beakers back at UConn. It's some good momentum going to the end of last season to, you know, a championship game that a lot of people were tuned into.
Right.
And I agree that this is one of those. This is like a tipping point, not tipping point like entirely, but a tipping point for the people that were interested last year. How this plays out may have a huge impact on how much they want to follow this for the rest of this year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean,
I think,
I'm glad
like,
she's back on the team. Like,
who is the basketball player that you know may have been part of killing someone? And like
talking about Brandon Miller from Alabama.
and hid the gun and all that. Like,
Yeah.
I just think I don't want to get on that slippery slope where it's like that fan base still loved him. This girl did bad in school. I don't want to see the fan base turn on her.
Jim, that has not been. I don't think that
May
has-
have done bad in school.
may have.
Was not a part of a crime. I don't want to see her get blackballed for stupid shit.
Yeah, I agree. Brings us into the NHL. Nate, I want you to talk about this one.
So I was watching this live when it happened here, and the Pens goalie Tristan Jarry got a goalie goal via an empty net for the Pens and a come from behind win in Tampa last week. And he became, I think they said, the second goalie ever to score a goal in the AHL and the NHL.
Ooh,
Do Do you know how silly goalie goal sounds?
Goalie goal. If you say it like that, I guess you're right. Yeah, if you think of it as silly.
And he was
I
actually
mean,
the second member of the organization to score a goalie goal this year. Their
See?
backup, Alex Nedeljkovic, also scored one about a month ago for Wilkes-Barre.
It's
Goalie goal.
dynasty goalie goals.
Well, if we don't like goalie goal, Jim, what do you want to call it?
I don't. There is nothing else we can call it. That's the problem. It just sounds so silly.
So silly. So silly.
So he got a hell of an ovation at the game Saturday night, day afterward.
No, I'm sure.
Speaking of hell of an ovation,
There's-
but this next guy got a hell of an ovation. Corey Perry may have slept with Connor Bedard's mother and leaves the Blackhawks. Epic.
Why'd you leave the team? Because I accidentally slept with one of my teammates' moms.
That is the speculation. Although Corey Perry's statement released that had nothing to do with any teammates or their families, which led me to think, oh, you're very specific to say teammates or their families. Was it one of the coaches or management wives
Yeah,
that
I
you
thought
happen
I
to have a
saw-
problem with?
I thought I saw a release that said it had to do something with a member of the organization, but it wasn't like you said, a teammate or whatever.
I feel like you might be able to get away with the teammate thing, but when you start messing with coaches and management's wives, girlfriends, whatever it may be,
Not a great move.
I feel like that's a one-way ticket out of town. He said he's working with experts in mental health and substance abuse fields to become a better human.
My understanding of the story is there's a mother's night for the Blackhawks where all the moms come to the game, and this guy's mom disappeared, and so did Corey, and lots of drinks had been had.
And then, Jim,
And
The
intercourse.
rest is the story.
the rest is the story. I just thought it was, like I said, the statement was very explicit in teammates or their families. So I just something happened. Obviously, we may not get this story for a while, but
So are we saying Corey Perry might secretly be best friends with Zach Wilson from the Jets?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
taught him some tricks.
Could be a club.
The I Do My Teammates Moms Club.
Yeah.
I want to be on that team.
You want to be on that team?
Speaking of clubs and people that are well versed in the intercourse situation, Tiger Woods has returned to play.
I don't think he's well versed.
You don't?
No.
That's those Denny's waitresses, buddy.
Fair enough.
Fair.
I gotta think that there's something to it, my man. He returns in the Hero Challenge because he can be everybody's hero, baby, this past weekend. And the golf world is in love because, well, it's Tiger Woods playing golf again. He finished 18th out
Yes.
of 20 and has stated he is expecting to play in at least one tournament a month. I mean, this is great for golf that Tiger Woods is playing again.
Mm-hmm.
Good for ratings.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
amazing for the
No,
ratings.
you're right. Yeah.
Come on, sure, it's good for ratings.
In the NBA, LeBron James has been called out, and then he was tossed out of the game along with Houston Rockets head coach Ime Udoka after a sideline conversation that I saw the video the night of, and there was immediately the people of like, we need the lip readers to get in here and figure this out. After a play where LeBron James was near Ime Udoka, who played in the league when LeBron was earlier in his career, Udoka said, "Stop crying like bitches, man." LeBron James then responded, "We're all grown men. That bitch word ain't cool." Udoka then said, "Soft ass boy, stop bitching, acting like you're gonna do something." I gotta say, I'm not gonna say I'm on Udoka's side, but I think it's hilarious that somebody was this in LeBron's face about this.
It was a little bit of a soft reason to get thrown out of a game.
Yeah, it's dumb.
It is dumb, but it's LeBron James, so we got to hear about it. And plus, he got thrown out of the game.
Well, that's yeah. I watched the video like you said where they like
Mhm.
say what they said, and it was just weird. All of a sudden, they were just thrown out. And I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that was aggressively quick.
Yeah, I was like, this. If something else wasn't said, I kind
Yeah,
of
I thought it was going to be way worse.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for when it came out.
I thought someone talked about someone's mom.
Nope. In other news, Mark Cuban is selling his majority stake with the Mavericks, but will retain control of basketball operations. He bought the Mavs in 2000 for $285 million, and there's now a valuation of $3.5 billion to this team. Mark Cuban doing Mark Cuban things, everybody. And he still gets control of basketball operations after selling his majority stake.
I was surprised he's selling, to be honest. He seems very into it.
He's
Which I guess-
selling high. This is Mark Cuban thing. He's going to sell high. I think I want him. I need him to be doing all of this so he can get ready to buy the Pirates.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Sorry, Nate, if that has anything to do with your future employment, but we need Mark Cuban.
Yeah, sorry, we have priorities here, and it's not you, Nate.
Understandable.
The real story, or the real conspiracy, Mark Cuban bought a town.
Is that conspiracy or is that like legit?
So
Did he
the
buy
thought-
shit's
I was just gonna say, is this like Schitt's Creek?
I don't. You have to look it up, but he bought a town, and the thought is he's going to take this money and build himself Mark Cuban Town. The other theory is he's going to run for president, although he's turned that one down. But the thought of him using his money to improve his town, like I think the population was like 35.
So
Like-
shit's creek got it.
He's also leaving Shark Tank.
Right.
in 2 years, yeah.
So
Yeah.
is he on his way to either create utopia or be a president?
TBD.
Be an interesting president. I think we've gone through this one before. I think we've had this set up pretty well documented at this point. It would be interesting. I'm not gonna say he'd be terrible or great. It would just be interesting.
Right.
In other NBA news, player Josh Giddey was under investigation for contact with a minor from a couple years ago, stemming from a meeting at a nightclub when Giddey was 19 and the other alleged person potentially as young as 15 at this time. Everything for now has been squashed as the girl and her family are refusing to cooperate with authorities. Nightclub, NBA player, 19, 15-year-old. I feel like unless it's an 18 club, I think we've got some other issues at play with this nightclub that may come to light.
I am obviously very anti hooking up with people that are not of a legal age, but it would be tough if you think you're in an over 18 club. Everyone in there should be 18. Does the fault still lie with him that he didn't like ask for her ID? This is like the question, and I'm not being an a-hole. Like I genuinely think like, yes, for him to just randomly go pick up a 15-year-old is wrong. But 15-year-olds are looking older and older.
But yeah, like you said,
Says
if
Alex.
he's in an 18 and older nightclub, I mean, you just assume that she's of age.
Yes.
And this
I mean,
is
that
me. I
makes
did
it
not see
awkward.
that.
It's
I
like-
did not see that specifically that it was an 18 plus club. But I've got to imagine if we're tossing around the word nightclub, it has to at
Mhm.
least be an 18 plus club.
Right. So I doubt that even crossed his mind. And it's like, and let's say you're hitting it off with someone, it's like, oh, by the way, are you really 18? How'd you get in here?
I'm
It's
gonna
like-
need to see some ID first, ma'am.
Yeah.
Do we believe there's a payoff here now that the young lady and her family is refusing to cooperate with authorities?
Yeah, something's fishy about that.
We will see. I mean, at this point, this is a dead. It's a story that's done, right? Because unless there's more cooperation with the authorities,
Yeah,
we're probably never going to get to the end of this. But it was definitely something that was coming out very quickly, and there were a lot of less than appealing memes about Josh Giddey when the situation broke and the story broke. So I don't think we're going to get much more from this, but it is what it is for now. And in other football news, the newly merged XFL USFL is going to kick off on March 30th. We have any more excitement about what this will be this upcoming year than last?
No.
I think with them merging the two leagues, I think we might see a little bit more competition, a little bit more competitiveness across the league. More guys vying for
Yeah.
less spots, and
It's actually I don't know if any of the teams have dissolved or anything, but it's actually like USFL teams playing XFL teams and vice versa. So I don't know if there's less teams overall and how that's going to work out. They just merged. It's not like they're all the XFL now, from what I understand. But if there's less teams, it should be more competitive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
that was my interpretation that whenever I saw that they were merging.
Yeah. So
It'll
March
just-
30th. That's about the right time. Baseball will be about a month in then. Yeah.
No, baseball starts at the end of March.
Is it the end of March? I thought it was earlier March.
Well,
Well,
spring training, but
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's where I was thinking. So it's going to competing directly with those first couple months of baseball. Will it be a competition?
I think Jim will choose baseball.
Jim, you gonna watch baseball over this?
Probably. If I had
Jim's
to
gonna watch
choose.
baseball
I said if I had to choose.
if you had to choose. All right, that wraps up other interesting news in sports. Do we have any questions for the group, Jim?
Not today. Not today.
Man, this football ending of college football has him down bad.
It's not even over. Bowl season, Jim. Don't you have an announcement for bowl season?
We're gonna do a bowl pick'em for the show.
let's not so excited about it.
You know what, guys?
We're definitely going to get all the people to
I
participate.
can't be on all the time. So we're gonna do a bowl.
You haven't
pick'em.
been on for the past 3 weeks when it comes to college football.
Oh, what do you want me to do, Muff?
Be better. I want you to be better. Be more excited. You can control your enthusiasm.
I'm trying. So we're doing a bowl pick'em.
Yeah.
And we're
Tell
gonna
me more.
you'll be able to see it in a link somewhere. Somehow we'll get the info out to you here shortly. But bowl pick'em
And the winner gets
prizes.
Everybody loves prizes.
everybody wants a prize.
Stickers.
Hilltoppers. And that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. Be sure to listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Make sure you watch on YouTube. Subscribe to all the socials. Comment, subscribe, rate, review, poke, like, tickle.
Get the bell on.
Ding ding.
All of those things. And as we come into this holiday season, make sure that you find all of your friends and tell them to listen to Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. And to always remember to tell a friend, make a friend, be a